Motivation comes and goes, but leadership is what shows up after it's gone. Motivation is something we talk about all the time. How to find it, how to protect it, how to get it back when it fades. But most leadership breakdowns didn't happen because someone lost motivation. They happened because someone got tired and they didn't know what to do with the tiredness. Every leader reaches a season where the energy that once carried them forward is gone. Not because the work stopped mattering, but because the work has lasted longer than the feeling that started it. This episode is about what actually carries us forward when the motivation is gone. Before we go any further, if you're navigating leadership through burnout, fatigue, or rebuilding after a hard season, follow Summit After the Storm on Spotify so you don't miss any future conversations like this. There's a line in scripture that I've come back to often, especially in seasons like this. Let us not grow weary of doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. What stands out to me isn't the promise of a harvest. It's the assumption of weariness. Paul doesn't treat being tired as failure. He treats it as expected. The warning isn't about losing passion. It's about deciding that weariness means it's time to stop. Motivation fades. Fatigue sets in. The real question is, what do we do next? Motivation is helpful. It gets things started. It creates early momentum, but it's unstable. It depends on progress, on feedback, on things going at least somewhat as planned. Leadership doesn't always afford that. Sometimes progress is slow. Sometimes the results are invisible. Sometimes the work just keeps asking for more and more. And that was true for me on Kilimanjaro. The excitement that got me to the base of the mountain was real. The anticipation, the adrenaline, the sense that something meaningful was about to begin. But a couple of days into the climb, that excitement had evaporated. We reached that climber's wall, a long, steep stretch where the summit isn't even visible. You're climbing, but you can't see where it's taking you. The air is thinner, the progress is slower, and the motivation that carried me early on was gone. At that point, you're not climbing because you feel inspired. You're climbing because you committed to the step in front of you. That's what leadership feels like in long seasons. When motivation disappears, what's left is commitment. Not intensity, not hype, just the quiet decision to keep doing what matters. Storms accelerate this moment. They drain energy, they stretch timelines, they remove the small wins that used to keep you going. And storms force an honest question. Am I willing to keep showing up even when I don't feel like it? Galatians 6:9 doesn't promise speed. It points to timing. Not everything grows on our schedule. Storms test whether we trust that or whether we're relying on motivation all along. Here's the reframe that's helped me. You don't need to feel motivated to move forward. You need to stay faithful to the next step right in front of you. Faithfulness isn't dramatic. It looks like consistency, small actions repeated over time. And that's how leaders endure seasons that motivation can't carry. Being tired doesn't mean you're failing. It usually means that you've been carrying something meaningful for a long time. And the promise of Galatians 6:9 isn't pressure, it's permission to keep going without forcing enthusiasm that isn't there yet. The climb doesn't stop when motivation fades, and neither does the work that matters. If today's episode resonated with you, you'll find more leadership resources, updates on my book, and everything connected to this work at summitafterstorm.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow Summit After the Storm on Spotify so you won't miss what's coming next. And until next time, take the next step and keep climbing. Pulley, pulley.